Number 1 civil target is flight 4, Bravo, 65, 20 low. Everyone.
Welcome, everybody. Hello, Kelly Joe. Hello, Mary Grizzly. How are you doing?
Hello, Mary. You look wonderful tonight.
Everybody looks great.
Thank you. So do you. I'm doing great.
Hello, Twisted Witch. Welcome to the show. Nice to see you there, Curtis, Chris, and everybody that's starting to slide in on this Tuesday evening, broadcasting live. We're outside Indianapolis, Indiana. So tonight, Kelly Joe, what are we going to be discussing?
Well, we're going to love of spirit, and we're going to do some readings. So you can get love from any, your mom, a loved one, child, husband, anybody that's passed on. Not to mention real love in real life,
Right.
It crosses all barriers, past, present, and future. It doesn't have any bonds.
Yes, no, absolutely. So one of the things that I found out by talking to people over the years and trying to follow in my mentor footsteps as Kelly Joe is that we hear a lot of people that have crossed over trying to communicate with loved ones. And a lot of people are not aware of how they communicate or show love. And Kelly Joe's going to expand on that.
Yeah. Sometimes I call it doing a nun job, like folding laundry, doing dishes, whatever. You'll feel the presence of your loved one. You'll feel warmth, or you'll feel, you'll have a thought or a memory come in, or a smell, or you'll find, like we said last time, a quarter or a dime, or my mom loved buttons, so I'll find a button on the floor. So just little things like that. They can communicate through anything. Like sometimes an old answering machine, you'll find a message from them on there. You thought you erased it, but it's there because they can use electronic equipment.
Yeah. Twisted Witch says I do EVPs and I'm read it.
Go ahead.
I can't.
It says I do EVPs and have talked to spirits since I was a little. It was constant things with me. I smell my best friend's cologne a lot. He passed away 12 years ago.
Absolutely. That's how they let you know that it's them.
Hello, Michelle. Hello, Ronald Murphy. Nice to see you all. Thanks for tuning in. Absolutely.
And
yeah. Go ahead.
A lot of times they come to you in dreams because you're quiet and they can get through to you. Because sometimes you're so active that it's hard for them to get through to you when you're awake.
Well, not only that, and we talked about it on numerous times on your shows, how you be in the middle of cooking and you will smell that favorite fragrance that your loved one has wore, your grandmother or grandfather, right?
Absolutely. Or or if they were a baker, you smell pies, cookies, cakes, biscuits, sweet rolls, whatever.
Yeah, it's really interesting because, I tell people when I do readings for them, a lot of stuff that I see or being shown images, numbers, whatnot, or smells, it doesn't make any sense to us. But it's to relate to them, to let them know that the family member that they love, which is their grandmother, grandfather, sibling, whatnot, is coming through and actually confirming.
Right. And sometimes you can have taste, like if somebody liked to drink whiskey, you can taste whiskey, or smell of cherry tobacco, or if they smoke cigarettes, you smell cigarettes,
Well,
That,
Weston Witt says, I have a lot of dreams about him so much that it feels real.
it is real. You really do they contact you. Yes, they're really there.
So how can you decipher if you're having one of these senses come through while you're working at home or you're working at work? How can you decipher?
Because it's different than normal. It's like more acute, more, your senses are all heightened. Like sometimes your hairs on the back of your neck will stand up, and it's like being ultimately aware, hyper aware when they're around, and then it goes away when they leave.
Right. And what happens, Kelly Joe? Can you elaborate on to where you find coins, you see feathers, the smells, and it's repeatedly over and over. And when you doubt it, what usually happens?
They keep doing it till they get your attention. It's like, they can put stuff in your car, and that you didn't have a feather in your car before that. It's like, hello, I'm here.
Right. And that's why it's important, ladies and gentlemen, to contact Kelly if you have any questions at 890. I can't read the phone number, Kelly.
89850.
You got to talk louder.
Well,
Kelly Joe, what's your phone number?
50481-1813.
All right, thank you.
But you can't deny it, and a lot of times, it'll be, you'll feel your hair get brushed back if your mom brushed your hair back, or you'll see a butt print on your bed after you make your bed. Can't deny that. Somebody sat there.
Chris L says, my grandma turns my printer on even though it's not plugged into electricity.
Yeah, like I said, they can do electrical equipment whether it's turned on or not. Yes. And they can work phones and whatnot, that's how that works. And it's like they like electrical equipment because they can manipulate it.
Old radios, I found that out a lot.
Yep. And you can hear old timey music playing out of a radio that ain't even plugged in.
And it's not, I tell people too, don't be afraid to speak to them. They know, they listen, they can hear.
Oh, they hear you every day. Like I'll do readings and they'll say, well, tell them that I love them. I said, they hear every word.
Right.
It's like I told one lady the other day, well, you talk to your mom in the kitchen all the time when you're cooking. She hears you,
So what do you tell to the non-believers about this topic?
Well, energy is neither created nor destroyed. It just changes form. That's science.
So it is real.
You can't kill energy.
Hey, Dow, welcome to the show. Roger, nice to have you there. Welcome, welcome. And as we're talking, if you would like to have a little sample reading, just put I do out there in the comments, and Mary will mark them. And that way, as we're continuing on a little bit later, we'll go ahead and start covering those. So, welcome back, Michelle. We missed you.
Hello. Welcome back.
But yeah, it's interesting because I had a non-believer at the event in Tennessee, and the only thing I was talking to her, next thing you know, 1213 came in. And I was like, I don't know if this is a birth date or an anniversary, but it's very prominent coming through. And the lady started crying. She's like, it's the grandmother I missed that I talked to. That was her birthday.
Oh.
And then more information started coming through about some of the history and so forth. I don't know what show it was on. We had one mother. I was sitting there talking to her, and next thing you know, I was seeing images of a ponytail and hair that she cut and put in her jewelry box, and she would get it out from time to time and smell it, and it freaked her out, didn't it? She was like, "How do you know that? How can you? There's no way you knew that, because I don't tell anybody. It's just the images I see that
Right.
comes to me, right? And it's just giving confirmation that where the information's coming from was from her daughter that was killed in a car wreck."
Right.
Hey, Joyski. So, and that's one of the things is that we have to make sure of is that we pay attention not only to what we're getting, but also what the person's receiving. And I try to explain to a lot of them, you're so excited, right? You do not understand some of the information I may give you right this, then, and second.
Right. I tell everybody write notes because you're not going to get everything that I'm telling you.
Right.
So please take notes.
Chris says, whether you believe or not, Spirit is always finds a way to get to the right message through the right time. And that is correct. And there's been times on social media networks that I would be talking, and next thing you know, I would hear, "Tell that my granddaughter I miss her. I love her very much." And I'm like, "Hell no, I ain't telling her that. She don't know who I am." And then she started giving me like information, like when she fell off her training bicycle and broke her two left toes on her right foot, right?
Yeah.
And how would I know that? I mean,
No,
how would you describe that, right?
Yeah, because
So,
you're connected to spirit.
Dowdell says, "I smell cigarette smoke all night long. Is it a family member?" All right, Dowdell, will put you in line. Virgil says, "I kind of believe, but it never happened to me." Actually, Virgil, it does. And you just have yourself closed off.
Right.
And you have to be open. Now, some of the stuff you may come across yeah, is coincidental. Absolutely. But some of the other times, it may not be. What's your take, Mary?
Well, they can get a message across. What my experience is they will keep being very persistent until you listen. And they come across in so many different ways. And unfortunately, sometimes people don't want to believe because, in my experience, when someone doesn't want to believe that a message is coming through, it's because they don't want to re-experience the hurt. And if you can acknowledge that, sometimes that will help you to be able to process that information and when they're coming through to be more open. So you actually can get the communications or any of the signs, because when you're closed, like what he's saying, when you're closed off, you're making it to yourself to where you're blocking off and paying attention to any of the signs that they're giving.
Yes. And sometimes before you do a reading for someone, their passed on people are going to come and visit you before you do their reading. You'll have a lot of them.
That actually happens a lot where I didn't understand what was going on, but it makes sense if I do a reading for somebody and it's like, oh, that does happen.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, because they know what we're going to do before we do it.
Right. So they'll stand in line and talk to you at nighttime, and then you do your reading the next day. I'm like, okay, hi guys.
And I've actually been places before, Kelly, where I shouldn't have been. And it's like people be like, I know you from somewhere and I feel like you're going to tell me something. Or they just hang around in your social group at the event or anything. And it's like, I don't know. It's just I wasn't supposed to be at this event and now I'm here. And I don't know why I'm here. And it's like, yeah, because your uncle that passed away 13 years ago when he took his life felt real sorry. And he wanted to come through and it just comes out. It's
right.
It just flows.
Absolutely.
Hello, Photos Against Anxiety. But yeah, and it's just interesting because, a lot of people believe in different things in life. A lot of people believe in science. A lot of people believe in God and God only. But if you open yourself up and you listen to your surroundings, sometimes, Kelly, they will come to you in whispers while you're sitting there watching TV or laying in bed. Is that correct?
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's crazy. Now you see spirit full time. See, that would drive me nuts. That would probably get old.
I do shut it down. I can turn it on and off, but if one's like really, really needs to get a message, they'll like, tell me over and over until I call the person that I need to call. And once I do that, they leave me alone.
Right.
It's like, alrighty then.
Unbelievable.
Virgil, I know that you want the people to come back, and it's hurtful when they're gone, but you might get a message through. Kelly's really good. Kelly's amazing. Truly amazing.
And I give all my hiatus to Kelly is because Kelly really took the time when I was going through certain things, which I didn't understand, and made me feel a lot comfortable trying to accept something. So I greatly appreciate it a lot. And I never can say that enough.
Well, you're welcome.
Can we thank her for her help?
Tell her.
I wanted to personally thank publicly Kelly for all of her help. So if anybody went on the podcast last night when we were speaking of her, this weekend we had a major problem. So when we were heading back from the event, we were driving back, and he had stopped on the side of the road, and he had cracked my door when we were on the interstate. And then we left, and then kept going. Well, we got clear up to Indianapolis and stopped at a gas station, and then realized my purse and one shoe wasn't in there. And it was in the middle of the night and pouring down rain. And I had realized that my purse had fallen out on the side of the interstate. I was trying to remain calm, and I finally was giving up, and I called Kelly in an emergency at like 3-4 o'clock in the morning, and she didn't answer at first. And I left a message. 5 minutes later, she calls me, and she's like, "What's wrong?" And I tell her exactly what I'm telling you guys. And I'm like, "Can you please help? I'm just so stressed. I can't get into my apartment. My keys are in there." And I'm like, "Can you give us a mile marker number? We're looking, we keep going and tracking, and we can't find it." And she's like, "It's under by mile marker 11. So we get up, get around, start coming. And by golly, it is exactly what she said. And it was at mile marker 11.9. And we found and retrieved my purse and my shoe. And
wow.
This is how good she is, guys. And in the middle of the night, this is what a kind person she is, that she actually picked up the phone and called back because she knew that there was something going on and we were really panicked. And I just wanted to extend a heartfelt thank you, Kelly, for helping us. Oh. And you were so good and very gifted.
You're welcome.
And it just goes to show, that's why I'm saying what you're seeing on the show has no indication at all of what she is capable and amazing abilities that Kelly Jo has.
You're welcome, Virgil.
Really is. So, but that's one catastrophe that we sure did miss. So,
and she can be, guys. She's all like, "It's fine. You're gonna find it." And I'm flipping out because of my purse, and we can't get in. My car keys, everything's in there, and I'm like, And she's just like, "It's gonna be." And she's sitting there talking to me the whole time on the phone till we found that purse and kept and helped so much. Wow! Like I could not believe. I know she's accurate, but I didn't realize she could get that accurate. It blew my mind.
Well, it isn't me. It's a gift. I didn't, it's just the energy,
Yeah, it really is. John and photos and Chris, it was more than that. Because like I told Kelly before the show, we didn't go far back enough on the interstate. But once we got gas and Kelly was on the phone, I did want to make sure it was still there. That's for sure. And the rain didn't move from that location until we picked up the purse. Go figure.
And it stopped right after it.
Cool.
So how can you explain that, right?
Yep, you can't.
Right. Let's start at some star things. We'll go back to our conversation. Chris says, "Thank you, as always, for this live, Kelly Jo. Do I currently have any spirits or energetic attachments around me? Please. And thank you."
you don't have a attachment, but you do have a grandfather that's around you on your dad's side, and he has the connection with December. So, and he's like a tall, thin man. He used to have dark hair and wore glasses, and he worked with his hands. So he's around you lately, and you keep yourself pretty clear. You're good at cleaning yourself, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, Chris, I confirm with Kelly. And when I first saw your question at the beginning of the show, I did not feel any attachments or anything like that, or any dark entities or anything. What do you feel?
I know. The only thing that I can pick up on is just loved ones. It's not nothing negative or anything.
All right, Chris, let's draw you a card here and see what the Black Moon astrology cards. These are spiritual cards. I want to make sure and throw that out. Only cards I mess with, ladies and gentlemen, are spiritual through God and only through God and the Holy Spirit. I don't mess with any other type of cards. That's just my preference and the way I do things. All right. That one stuck out like 3 times and I was watching it. So let's see what this is, Chris. First house. When you see the first house, this is talking about the body. Look at the colors on that. Look how it's glowing.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. The stars and the moons, the planets, and everything around you. So what this is referring to is talking about your body. Let's go back and revisit your body. What do we do to provide nutrition for? Through the Holy Spirit and the ghost. This also talks about we need to pray more and what I'm picking up on and release things over to the Lord and quit holding on to the past. I say on every show, what is done yesterday is done. You cannot change. Only thing you do is make sure in the future, whatever way you go, is actually going to be the best and the best for you. But you need to pray and turn it over to everybody, to the Spirit. Thank you.
Virgil asked if I'm ever scared of this. No, it doesn't scare me. It's like breathing. I was born this way.
See, I get nervous, and I tell Kelly that a lot is because I self-doubt a lot. But, and I mentioned this on other shows, my dreams are 100% prophetic, right? Prophetic. And I take medicine so I don't dream because it scares me that bad. So I've been kind of working on that. I really have. And Photo says, I have a lot of gratitude for this channel at the time. As build my confidence back up. Your readings were very encouraging. Kelly is so accurate, it's unbelievable. But it's not me. I thank the Holy Spirit for providing the message and actually let me become a vessel to deliver a message to the people, not only in public, but also on the Bigfoot Outlaw channel. And I greatly appreciate that. And thank you so much. It really means a lot to hear that. What do you think, Kelly?
Totally. I agree with you.
Mary?
Chris was saying he was a carpenter, and she also said, how sweet and very thank you.
Yes, thank you. All right, who's next here?
Dell wants to know who goes in the bathroom with her.
Well, hold on, because I don't have that one. We got John.
Oh, okay.
John, I have a question for whoever wants to answer this. I had a dream Sunday. Some young kids asked me if I believe in Jesus. I said yes. They asked why and went to explain, and the dream ended. Go ahead, Kelly. I already got my answer.
It's just he knows who he believes in, and he was safe in that fact, and then he woke up.
So with that dream, John, we can look at it several different ways. I see that you're having similar dreams and different fashions along that same line. And it seems like that you are going to provide some information to a non-believer, and they may end up switching their beliefs from atheism and joining the spiritual connection. However, I will leave you with this, and I say this on different shows. When I had a chance 31 years ago to talk to my neighbor that was a non-believer, he asked me the same question, and why? And I said this: if you follow the Bible and the 10 Commandments in the Sermon on the Mount, right? and you live your life and there is a God, what happens, sir? He says, well, you die and you go to heaven, and then you're reunited with Jesus and loved ones. I said, that is correct. That is what I believe in. And I went on to it. I said, now let's say there is no God and there is no hell. You follow the Bible, you follow the scripture, you follow the 10 Commandments, and you die. What happens? And he said, I don't know. And I said, very simple. Everybody that's around you and known you would say that you're one hell of a man and you lived a good life. And then 2 weeks later, he went to church and got saved. So that's something hopefully you can put in your arsenal and maybe tell a story like that to whoever's going to ask you. But yes, it's a great thing, John, and that's a good opportunity for you. What do you think, Mary?
I agree.
All right, next one. Michelle, go ahead, Kelly.
What you're doing is you're opening up to new beginnings. You're letting the past go, and you're going to start moving forward now. You won't be stuckified anymore. So I see a big leap forward.
Oh, that's good.
So, and then there's like I hear the main word about this year is freedom. So that's what I get. What do you get, Mary?
Nothing.
All right, go ahead.
All right, so you got the Neptune card, and when I see the Neptune card, it's a beautiful female with the crown and long hair, the colors, right? And this card talks about sacrifice. And you should have sacrificed a lot, not only for yourself, but for others. So don't forget to go back to your roots and meditate and keep doing what you're doing. And make sure, I don't know why, I see glasses and glasses of water. So I don't know what that means, Michelle, but you're on the right track. And just give your time to yourself as well, and keep doing what you do with your passion, because I see that growing, and we need to see more of it on TikTok. Interesting. Dowdell says, I smelled cigarette smoke all night long. Is it a family member or Sylvia?
It's Sylvia.
Cigarette smoke.
She's sitting there going,
That would make the fire out of me. That would
that
really.
lady's a brat.
That's a lot of cigarette smoke.
I know. She's blowing it in her face. And she's laughing.
That's funny. Okay.
But she's a medium anyway. This girl's a medium, so.
Yeah, Michelle does. She's very intuitive. Very intuitive.
Yeah.
Very. All right. The card I drew for you is Void of Curse. And anytime, that's weird, because especially what you do around in your apartment, just make sure and be careful. But look at the moon, right? And what is the moon? We don't know what the moon is, because they say 10 to 15,000 years ago, the moon was brought here to surveil us. And some people say that the moon is hollow, but I don't know. But this talks about you and being fulfillment in your duties in life, but also go back to your roots as well. Very interesting. I never had that card. So I feel it, Kelly Joe. I feel it. See, that's good, Michelle. I'm glad you do. All right. Who's next here?
Let's see.
Chris. What do you do when you see the signs but can't fully understand the message, and the signs are always a certain message? Real simple. Call Kelly Joe. Call Kelly Joe. Get help. That's what she's here for.
Here's your sign.
That's right. Call Kelly Joe. As soon as Mary clicked on the next name, Photos Against Anxiety, the Chiron. It looks like that you need to do some healing in your life. And when I see this, look at the two people. One's got his arm across his shoulder. We need to talk about forgiveness. You can't harbor hate or hatred in your heart because it makes your heart harden, and that will prevent you from entering the gates of heaven. So remember that. But take time and help the ones that love you that's kind of been ignored. That's what kind of message I'm getting.
And then to move forward, because she's holding grudges. Quit doing that.
Can't have a hardened heart. You got to let it go. We need to get that paper. What is it called when you light it, catches on fire?
Paper.
The intention paper. Yeah, we're out of that. Do you ever get scared, Kelly Jo, while doing any of this?
No, I know God's with me. You know, it's like if God's with you, who's against you? Nobody.
Yes, that is correct. Now, somebody, I don't know who it was, somebody asked a question. What is the difference between a psychic and a medium?
Well, psychic picks up on general things and stuff, and medium, we talk to dead people.
That is correct. It's very important because a lot of people are different. Now, what I've been told was what I was a psychic evidential. And that's a person that gives proof that the person that's actually crossed over is with you. Because I bring out facts and dates and everything like Kelly does. Kelly can do everything. She can do tea leaves, all that stuff.
I don't know what I'm called.
Smorgasbord.
Oh, there you go.
Smorgasbord.
Okay.
All right, Nelda, we got you on the board. Not a problem. And thank you for the blessings, and it's just very amazing. It really is. All right, who's next? And photos. I would like to ask if my parents are supportive of the path I've taken. I cut off contact with my narcissistic siblings. Wow. That's very hard to do. Go ahead, Kelly.
Well, the mom and dad are supportive because everybody, the other siblings were jealous and greedy and snotty and jealous and snarky and icky. So it's good that you did that. It's like you don't need to be around that. No. So you have
that's exactly what I'm feeling too. Is
for
that
your
there's
mental,
a lot of jealousy
for your mental health. Yes.
Yeah. What's really interesting is Kelly was speaking. I thought about 1776. And 1776, I had no idea what that meant. To me, it's the revolution, right? Where America was born to freedom. And the card that came up was the solar card.
Oh, cool.
And the solar card talks about revolution, how you go through the changes. And this also gives you information that the siblings that you had was kind of jealous because of what you're able to do and what you did throughout life, that they thought it was more of a competition.
Yeah.
Who could outdo who, but you had to do nothing because you're always prevalent and on top. There's nothing wrong with that. It's hard to cut off a narcissistic family member or family members, but you have to surround yourself with white light and light and pure and get rid of all that negative around you, because that will drag you down and that will cause you health problems. I guarantee it will. Okay. Are those people who have gone through decide they don't want to come back or contact us, Kelly?
Yeah. Whether they come back or not, they're still your loved ones. They're with you. And it doesn't matter if they come back or not. It's their choice. A soul always has its own choice. We're the only animal on earth that God gave free will to. You can choose to go along with things or choose to do a raspberry and everything.
It's funny. All right, Nilda. Let's see what the cards pull for Nilda here. I'm getting that your anxiety is a little bit high, and but I drew the water element card, and with the water element card is a beautiful, vivid image of water going through a triangle and the scenery behind there, but it also represents cleansing and healing. Looks like you're getting ready to go through another process of transitions, and you're going to come out and you're going to try to heal yourself. And this shows you that you are. even though that you're surrounded by different elements in life, think about the white light and pureness of the Trinity of the Holy Ghost. And I think they'll provide some solace to you.
And your timing's impeccable, so choose.
That is correct. And Kelly, I was going to draw a card for you. Instead, 4 of them come flying out of the deck.
Oh, dear.
So, what's really interesting is that the first one, I got the Grand Cross. Now, when I get the Grand Cross, that tells me a lot of things, but it represents the provoker. And this is the provoker of white light. This person also helps people with transitions through different elements of their lives when they need guidance and support. And that actually speaks a lot about Kelly, and that card reflects a lot. The other card I got was the fire element. The fire element is a very beautiful card with vivid colors with the triangle in there. Now, a triangle has how many sides?
3.
That to me represents the Holy Trinity and the Holy Ghost, the Spirit, and the Lord, Father, and everything else. But it also talks about how Kelly is equally on all sides, just like a triangle, correct? And she's fair and consistent. And Kelly has always put herself before anybody else, whether it's on this channel or in real life. And she has made a lot of sacrifices throughout life just because of that. And I think that's very accurate. The Aries card, I love the Aries card. I get a little closer so everybody can see it. The Aries card, you have to let yourself go in the image and try to pull information out from her spirit. But it also talks about I am. And what Kelly says she is what she says. And that's what it refers to as I am. Carrie's very, very thoughtless, and she always reaches out and help people, just like she did with Mary and myself on the way back from the event. She didn't have to answer that phone call at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning to help somebody out, but she did it graciously and cautiously with everybody. She does that continually. The next card I got is Venus. Now, when you see Venus, what is she doing, right? What is she wearing? Look at the vivid colors. What does the colors mean to you? This card, when it comes to Venus, reference love. And if you notice, the theme of the show is talking about love and powerful communications. This reflects Kelly all the way to the T. What do you think about that card, Kelly?
It's beautiful.
So.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Went to draw 1 and 4 went. So, absolutely. So what do you do, Kelly, when people contact you about loved ones and the loved ones they want to come through don't?
I tell them it's whoever talks the loudest. And it might not be the one that you want to come through, but it's the one that you need the message from.
That is correct. And a lot of people need to, think about that, because I've seen a lot of people over the years to go to somebody with the claim they have abilities and like, I want to talk to my mom. And next thing you know, they're talking to their mom. It doesn't happen like that all the time, ladies and gentlemen. Some of the people that I talk to or send me messages, I have no clue who they are. It's like that one, the grandmother. Only reason we knew it was a grandmother in the beginning because she gave her birth date. That's the only reason how we knew.
Right.
Heck, he had one where he picked up on the girl being pregnant and she hadn't told anybody yet. She was getting ready to tell him.
I slipped.
He slipped it up.
Oops.
Yeah, the mom came and paid me a visit.
Uh-oh.
She's like, I want a reading now. And so the next couple that came and sat down at the table, I was like, oh, Lord, she's pregnant. I don't know if this guy knows. Because they were working on each other, right? The reunite.
Yeah.
They were married 2 times prior.
Yeah.
And I'm like, do I say about the pregnancy or do I say? I was like, I ain't saying jack. And at the end of the reading, she disclosed that she was pregnant. I was like, I know, but I didn't know if he knew.
Right. It's like, okay, oopsie.
Yeah, and I found out when you do readings in public back to back and you have people, make sure don't use a roll of toilet paper. Have some Kleenexes. We need to get Kleenexes. That was embarrassing, having a roll of toilet paper in front of you as everybody was doing the readings.
I kid you not. People would come over and get the aura photography, and I would go over their aura pictures. I was making people cry, telling them, and then they'd go over to him, and then they were bawling even harder.
But you know what was the beautiful thing?
It was good tears, but they were crying.
Yeah.
It was a really good event. We just had a really good time.
Mary had her own side of the room, and I had my other side of the room. And I had no idea Mary was going over readings with the aura colors and some of the blockages. So as they would come over to me to get a reading, I would validate everything Mary said and took and went further. And they were like, you did not even know that I was over here. She was telling me all this stuff. And this was like a half hour ago. Because, people wait in line to get a reading.
Right.
And you can't keep up. When I do readings, once they're done, they're out of my head. I don't remember them unless it's something very eventful or memorable. Then I can try to remember some of it. But I mean, you're talking 7th person down, and they're like, yeah, Mary was saying the same thing. And now you're giving me more information, very detailed. So, I mean, we do what we can do, right? And we try to help people as much. But like I told one person, do not take my kindness as a weakness.
Right.
Right. That's very important. And her son was like, he can read minds. Yeah, I can read minds, but it's not like somebody walks in the room, I can just go. It just comes to me naturally. And it doesn't happen all the time. You have to be focused. You have to be relaxed, and you have to clear your mind of all that wash and static. And that's the hardest part for me. So, what about you, Kelly?
Me too. But I can remember readings. I don't know why. Like I have old clients. I say, yeah, I remember this happened, blah, 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 way back when you had your son. And you were
that's amazing.
And she goes, how do you remember that? I don't know.
That's amazing.
I just flip into it. Somebody's asking that Virgil, what? I'm sorry for repeating, but Jane took her life. That barrier to come over.
So, Virgil, it's very hard to understand why people take their own lives. You have to pray on it. Sometimes, and I know people may disagree with me, sometimes people get attachments and so forth, and evil can make people really confused and do things that is not proper in life when it comes to our regular routine in life that maybe you, Kelly, Mary, and Virgil does on a regular basis. The soul can be influenced, and sometimes some people think that's the only way out is to do that.
Right.
What has been your experiences in life with that topic?
Well, sometimes people hurt so bad they can't stand it anymore. And they just, take their life, You can't judge it, And a lot of times they'll come to and apologize,
Yes.
And they'll pat their chest. Whenever a spirit pats their chest, they're saying they're sorry from their soul. I apologize. They use the word apologize.
Right.
And then sometimes I believe it is an attachment, like drugs and alcohol. Hello. They had like 5 other entities talking to them,
Right.
And that's not good, but that has a lot to do with it too. And there's different energies of despair, despondency, depression. There's different entities that tote those things with them.
Chris asks, Kelly Joe, if there's time, I want to ask one more question. How can I unblock myself during meditation? I'm trying to follow your advice to connect with spirit, but yet I still struggle to consistently connect.
Okay. Well, just do it for a minute. Start at a minute. Hold that thought for a minute and connect for a minute. And each day try to do more, but always do your protection prayer first. Do not forget to do that. And then trust. It ain't no thinking thing. Like, ask a question. Are you of the white light? What are you trying to tell me? And then write down or what the spirit tells you, and use your discernment. You'll get there. But you need to trust it. It ain't no thinking thing when you're doing that. Because if you stick yourself in it, you're going to have your own self in it. Your own self has nothing to do with it. Does that make sense?
Yes. Absolutely.
I hope he understood what I said.
And what was you getting ready to say?
Go ahead, Mary.
I was going to say to Chris, spiritual or an energy healing also can help with that. If you're sometimes with you're struggling that bad with being able to focus or get into that relaxed state, that can actually be a blockage. So that's another thing that you could work on. Sound healing, there's a lot of different modalities to help get that to where your energy is moving through to where you can focus and sit still. And what Kelly's saying is exactly true. Also, when I started my meditations and stuff, I had squirrel brain, and I'd have to do a little bit at a time, minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and then you just keep building it up. And at one point I was doing 4 or 5 hours a day. And so go ahead.
Sorry. Another thing is if you have a thought come in, say, go away, I'll deal with you later.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Wow, that is a fast hour, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Goodness gracious, that went quick. I didn't mean to cut you off, Mary. Sorry.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine.
Well, everybody, thanks for tuning in and joining us today. We really had a great adventure. And if you like Kelly Jo to cover any topics or whatnot, send us a message. Reach out to Kelly Jo. Make sure and check out Kelly Jo at www.kellyjopsychic.com.
Thank you.
It's very important. Absolutely. Everybody's saying thank you. Thank you. Some people are talking about frequencies and so forth. But yes, thank you all for tuning in. And we greatly appreciate it, Kelly Jo.
Thank you.
And from coast to coast, around the world, ladies and gentlemen, Godspeed, and we'll catch you on the next show. Bye-bye.